Hi everyone, welcome back to another week of happy painting, easy painting let's call it. This week I'm going to paint a lovely street scene. I promised Suki, who is a very good follower of mine, that I would paint this a very long time ago. It just left my head, but I'm going to paint it this week, okay Suki? I hope you enjoy it. It's a lovely street scene looking in at the English market in Cork City. It's just off of Oliver Plunkett Street. If you're from Cork, you'll know this place straight away. It's the Market Lane, and it's a lovely little photograph I took of the laneway looking in. It's quite kind of dark. It was a kind of dark day, but there's this wonderful kind of a glow coming from the centre out through the alleyway, okay? And I want to try and recreate that. I've done this painting before already, and Suki asked me to do a tutorial on it, so here it is. I hope you like it. But first I want to show you the painting I did last week of the boat on the sand. You pointed out, rightfully so, that the shadows were going the wrong way on the clouds. This was something I just didn't realise until I was finished the painting. So I fixed it. I'm just going to show you what I did, okay, just very quickly. Now, this is the painting. The shadow, as you can see, is on the left of the boat, so therefore the shadow of the clouds should be on the left as well. Now they were the opposite way around. So all I did was basically I took a mix of light blue, so white and blue, went right across my sky very loosely with that, okay, all the way, and I then just put some white the opposite way around on my rough little brush, and I just put the light on the right hand side of the clouds. So then the very same in reverse. That's all I did, okay. It's still wet. So that's it. I think that's fairly good. I'm happy enough with that. You can still see some of the old cloud through the blue. It was a very thin mix of blue, but it's fine. That's it. Job done. You know, these are just things that you learn as you go along, isn't it? That's all it is. So yes, I'm very happy with that. I put a little dark line across here as well. Pete pointed that out to me. So just these little small things. Now the shadows on the waves are okay, because as the waves are turning coming in, we're going to get darks in under the waves anyway. So that's fine. I'm happy enough to leave that as it is. So there we go. That's pretty much it. Done and dusted. I'm happy enough with that. I stick it in the frame and put it on my website. So yes. In the meantime, let's go and paint a lovely street scene for Suki. I'm going to paint the street scene now in my kitchen, because it's quite cold out here in the studio. It's very damp and cold. Alright, so don't go anywhere. I'm getting set up. I'll be right back. Okay, welcome back to this show. Now, I'm in my kitchen today because it's just a little warmer. It's quite damp in the studio outside in the back. So, I'm in the comfort of my kitchen. Now, I have the canvas here, I have everything drawn already. It's just a very quick sketch, just to show you on perspective. Now, you can see the photograph there, isn't that wonderful? And what I loved about this, when I took this photograph, now this is just a little laneway in Cork City, and it goes into the side entrance of the English market. There's another one around the front, which is on the main road. This is a nice one, I think. Because it has that lovely glow in the centre, doesn't it? Nice warm kind of a glow. It's very inviting, and it kind of draws you in, doesn't it? Plus the colours are lovely and complementary. So with the greeny turquoisey blue here with the yellow, and this lovely glow kind of bounces off all of those. We have this lovely pinky kind of a stone colour up here, a mauvey kind of a dark mauve sort of a colour. So they bounce off each other. So everything is complementary in the painting. Now, you can see how I created the perspective on this. So basically, I kind of got a reference point. So my reference point was around here, okay? Around this area here. And everything above that line will go up at a slight angle the higher up it goes, okay? So from this line, everything will go at this kind of an angle when it's up very high. And as it comes down the canvas then, it's going to get slightly less and less and less. And then, when it starts going below this point, it starts turning downwards slightly. So that's the principle of getting perspective in your painting, you see. Now this line here, this should be slightly higher, like that, just to get more perspective, and this one as well. But in general, that's the kind of rule of thumb. So everything gets higher as it goes up higher on the canvas, especially with a building or something like that. It doesn't matter so much in landscapes, but with buildings like this, that's how everything goes to kind of a central point in the centre of the canvas. Do you understand what I mean? So just kind of experiment with that. Now, my colours, a nice colour for the palette today. I have titanium white, Naples yellow, cadmium yellow, phaylo blue, alizarin crimson, some burnt umber, a little cadmium red, I might not even need it, and a little black. There are our colours. Okay, so let's crack on. I have a little bit of turpentine here, just a drop. That's all you need. That really is all you need. And I'm going to use my medium stubby now for most of this filling in, okay? My lovely medium stubby brush. It has great control. It fits lovely kind of in the cup of your hand like this. So it's great for getting little flicks, and you know, it just really gives you a lot of control. They're lovely brushes, they really are. If you want to get your hands on some of these, just let me know, okay? Just send me an email. Right, I'm going to dampen my brush. It's quite wet now, it's because I want to mix up a nice amount of colour. First of all, anyway, the sky, and the sky is very, just looking at it, it's just white, okay? Let's just take a bit of white. But for the purpose of this painting, rather than having just white, I might add a touch of blue with the corner of the brush, just a tiny amount, alright? Just a hint of phthalo blue. And I'm just going to fill in the sky with this colour. Now it's quite wet, it's like a very wet cream. Very thin kind of a wet cream type of a consistency, because it's only a small amount. Look, that's all. There. Done. It's just to give that a slight hue, that's all. Next, now I'm going to leave the yellows until later on. I want to concentrate on all of this area here. Lovely brick effect, and it starts off with a very lightish kind of a blue. So let's take a little bit. The thing about it is you have to kind of separate colours in your mind. When you're looking at a picture like this, there's so much colour in the picture that when you're concentrating on one section, just concentrate on what that colour is and try and block out everything else. So I can see up here in this corner, although the wall is kind of a reddy browny grey kind of a colour, pinky kind of a grey, this is a very brightish kind of a blue here. So I'm going to take some phthalo blue, some white, and then I'm going to add to that just a tiny amount of crimson, because it's a very bright bluey kind of a mauve just in this corner up here, alright? So come down here just at an angle, and I'm going to just pull that down. By the way, I primed my canvas twice, so my canvas is nice and smooth now, you see, and the colours are really flowing around nicely on it. I'm going to dampen my brush down now just a little bit, and I'm going to start introducing more pink into this, and as well as pink, a little bit of burnt umber. So as it comes down now, it's going to start changing colour, you see, and soften it kind of into the blue. Just with the tip of your brush, I'm just kind of flicking it around just to soften it through that blue, just very slightly. Now my easel is catching the lamp on top of this here, so I'm just going to move that. It's a very rattly light up overhead, and it's catching the tip of my easel, the kitchen light. But look, not to worry, we'll muddle on through it. So bring this right down here now, and you can see then I'm only leaving a little bit of that light blue up in the top. So then, as it comes down, the colour is going to start getting richer and darker. So let's stick with the brown for now. So burnt umber, some crimson, and I might add to this then, start adding a little touch of black, okay? A little hint of black. So now you can see I have a pinky, kind of a dark, pinkish kind of a grey tone. You see? It's a warm kind of a dark grey, warm browny kind of a grey. And I'm just going to soften that. And this is very sort of free, a very kind of a free style. Now look, I'm just kind of softening it through here and there, letting the brush sort of dance around on the canvas. I'm not too fussy about getting this absolutely perfect and perfectly blended or anything like that. It's just, you see, it's kind of softening down. And then we come down, we have a point where it kind of stops here, doesn't it? I'm just going to be very loose with this now. It stops around here, alright? And then we go into a slightly lighter colour underneath that. But I'm going to concentrate just on this section for a moment. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to switch brushes. I'm going to take a smaller flat kind of a brush, okay? My small stubby would do fine for this However, my small stubby is very kind of badly worn at the moment and I must buy a new one. So I need something very kind of flat like this. Okay, a small flat, nice sharp flat edge brush. I'm going to take some burnt umber and a little black. I'm using very, very thin mixes as well, by the way, okay? And a little bit of pink. Very, very thin. So it's not very thick paint, it's just a thin, very thin mix. And I'm just going to start introducing an impression, okay? I emphasize the word impression of stone coming down at a kind of an angle like this. And I'm going to leave it almost disappear then up into that lighter colour overhead. So I'm just using the edge of the brush, the flat brush on edge, very loosely like this, and leaving it soften up very randomly, okay? Everything now here is very, very random. See? It's all very random. And let's add a little bit of black to the mix. And let's kind of just darken it down slightly as it comes down further. Okay, little hint of black. And it's a nice warm kind of a dark pink we have here. Dark blacky kind of a pink. Alright? And I'm just kind of creating the impression of stonework on the wall with this, that's all. Again, I emphasize the word impression because I want to keep everything super loose. Now let me just have a look on camera and make sure that's kind of, I want to make sure you can all see this okay. And I might add a little bit of purple even into this. Yeah, I'll take a little hint of blue and a hint of pink. And I'm going to start adding hints of a nice purple colour into this, because that will complement my yellows in the centre as well, because it's a very pinky kind of a wall. If you notice, if you look closely, it's really a very pinkish kind of a colour. So I'm just using little amounts of colour, that's all. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to pick up some black. And I'm going to introduce a hint of dark just here and there, and especially in around this side in the corner, a hint of black, a hint of brown, very dark colour just in there. Because they're very old buildings, it's a very old laneway, very old buildings. And what you could even do is, let me see now, what have I got here, what brush was I using earlier? I could even take this brush that we use for the sky and sort of just soften some of those in up overhead. Just very gently. Just kind of soften it in just a little bit. Okay. Now, we have a lighter grey coming down here, don't we? And I'm going to concentrate on that. Now, it looks, looking at the photograph, it looks like a light grey, but it's a kind of a darkish bluey grey. So I'm going to take some phaylo blue, a little black, little white, and I'm going to take a little pink into that as well, because I'm sticking with the pinky tones. Now, I'm going to go with that for now, and I can add more to this then as we go, alright? In fact, I'll take a bit of black. And I do want to keep my colours nice and dark in this painting, because it's a very sort of invite, like, because we have such a light area in here, I want to make it nice and dark around the edge of this. Alright? That's my idea. Now a little bit of black and a little bit of pink there. I just took a little lamp black and a little crimson and a little white. And I'm just going to fill that in down at the bottom. I'm going to come up slightly and start adding more white as it comes up, okay? White just on its own, and it'll all mix together then on the canvas. This is just, I'm just kind of having a little fun with this now at the moment, that's all I'm doing, okay? And notice my brush strokes, as I'm down the bottom, they're coming down like this, and as it goes higher and higher, they're going to flatten out and then start going upwards slightly again, you see? So that's giving you the impression of going off into the distance, the impression of perspective. Now let me go up a little bit with this one here. Okay, so now we have the basis of that done. I'm going to start adding some dark colour now to this down here, okay? And again, just the impression of stonework. Very light impression of stonework, look. I'm just going to dab, 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 dab. This will be trickier because the canvas is wet. I like working wet into wet. If you're not a big fan of wet into wet, then just let it dry, and you can do this afterwards and just sort of soften it in then with the brush, kind of let it blend together, kind of very lightly with your brush when it's dry, okay? But I like the wet into wet technique because everything is nice and soft. I like the soft feeling of a wet and wet painting. It's just what I'm used to, I suppose. I've always painted wet into wet, and it was like, for me, it was like a breath of fresh air because I used acrylics for so long. I used acrylics for years, and when I started using oils and discovered all these new techniques with the paint being wet, I was immediately hooked. It was fantastic. Now I'm going to go very dark now, right down to the very bottom, okay? Some brown and some black, and I'm going to go really dark just down here. And then just let it soften up. Let's add a little pink to the mix. So you see I'm complementing the colour up overhead, the pinks in here, I'm complementing them down here as well. And that kind of helps to tie the painting together, I find. So I have kind of that more or less where I want it. Now what I'm going to do is take a small pointy brush, and I'm going to take some of this dark browny black which I just mixed. Now my brush is fairly hard just on the tip, it's not very soft, so I'm just going to add an impression of some cracks and, you know, bits and bobs, as I like to call it, here and there on the wall. Just a very loose sort of impression, that's all, you see. And when it comes up here then, I'm going to put a little line just to separate the two of those, like so. Let's go up here and add a couple of horizontal lines following the shape of the wall, the direction of the wall. Look, a couple of horizontal ones like this, and then a few very loose sort of vertical ones here and there, look. And that just gives you the impression of that brick. You can go to a lot more detail on this now, and I might do as well at the very end of the painting, but for now I just want to keep this nice and simple, okay? Just nice and simple, not too complicated at all. Well, there we are. Okay, so I have one side of this wall done. I'm going to now move across to the centre because I'm excited about the centre section. And first of all, I want to start now with the top down, so I'm going to do my roof first. My roof is a very bright colour, very bright mauve, some white, some blue, and a little tiny amount of the pink. I'm going to start with this colour, and then I'm going to start darkening that colour down using some of the other mix. There we go. Alright, actually there we go. And I'm going to put a very dark colour just along the bottom. So you see, you can use your flat brush for a lot of this. You don't necessarily have to use your detail brush. You can just use your flat brush as well if you like. And then we have the front of this building is sort of a warm brown, isn't it? So I'm going to go with a bit of burnt umber. Yeah, that's not bad. I'll just mix a bit of burnt umber in with the colour I already had on my palette. and I'm just going to go with that colour. We'll go around the window, and you can see my paint is quite wet. It's not very dry, thick paint. So it's a nice soft mix, a nice creamy soft kind of a mix. So let's just fill this right in here now, and let's take some more brown. I always like to use plenty of thinners in my mixes, because I find when I put on too much paint too early on in the painting, it just turns really messy, and it's very difficult to get your details then later on. I think that's probably the trick with oils, is not to apply too many thick layers at once. I see a lot of students putting on lots of thick layers very early on in the painting, and then it makes life very difficult at the end of the painting when they're trying to do details and stuff like that. It just makes life difficult. Now, so that's that, there we go. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to take some of the dark brown there now, the little black, and just put a suggestion of some dark colour here and there, where they meet, and also where the corner of the roof meets this up here. Alright, just a little there, and this is a lot of fun now, isn't it? I want to darken it slightly on this side. I've been putting some nice highlights in there as well later, okay, so not to worry. And we also have a very dark, bluey, purpley kind of a line up on top, up here. So I'm going to go from here and go up at an angle. So just getting all these little things done. It's a big help. And let's add another little bit of it on this side, up here. Okay, there we are. And we are going well. Now I'll take a little black and a little brown, and I'll just suggest some roughage on the wall, okay? Just with that, little tiny dabs. Just high up, and it'll dissipate as it comes down then, okay? See, it'll dissipate out. And adding little touches here and there down the bottom as well. It just varies it, because it's a very old wall, and you know, you can see now it looks more natural rather than just having one bland kind of a colour. So we're doing very well, I have to say. Now, this sign is a very dark kind of a blue, isn't it? It's a very dark purpley kind of a blue. So I'm just going to take a little phthalo blue with a hint of pink. I'm just going to paint this in, this big square sign, with this colour. So you can see the process now for painting a street scene like this. It's just a case of go along, do one section at a time. Alright? Don't be too, well, that's the way I paint it. A lot of artists will tell you, no, don't do one section at a time. Do all your filling in and then start putting in shapes and getting your tones. You can do it that way if you like, but I prefer to do it this way, and I can compare colours as I'm going, you see. Now I'm going to take some burnt umber and take some of that and put that down underneath in the alleyway, okay? Because it's very dark initially. So I'm just going to put some of that in there like that, and I'll put some in down the side here. Add a little Naples Yellow to that. As it goes in, it's starting to catch the light. You can see on the photograph. So it starts catching some of the light as it goes in a little bit under that canopy. So I start putting some of that in. There we go. And I'll take a hint of black with some cadmium red this time. And I'm going to just go very dark up here. And it's amazing really how two paintings will never turn out exactly the same. So the one that I painted, I have a tutorial, I have a painting of this already on my phone, a picture of the painting which I already done, and it just looks completely different, because each time you do it, it works out differently, doesn't it? It never works out exactly the same the second time round. Okay, let's just go up here with that. Let's just get everything sort of merging together. Now this is going to soften out as it comes out, okay? So I'm going to take a little pink with some blue, and I'm going to let this sort of soften as it comes out and meets the building out here, okay? You see what I mean? Just like that. And this side is different because we have turquoise over here. And now for the very centre, I'm going to go in now and fill in that very centre of the painting in there. And what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to take some yellow, some cadmium red, and I'm going to put a hint of that just here and there, overhead, and then a hint of Naples Yellow. Okay. Now can you see what I'm doing here? You can, can't you? You can make it out. Okay, I'm going to take some, with a very clean brush, I'm going to take some cadmium yellow, a good dollop of that, and some cadmium red, and a good dollop of that. And I'm going to go in here now and fill in that colour first. Just fill it in all the way. Take some cadmium red towards the bottom, because for me it's all about this section in the painting. Everything kind of points towards this little section, so that's what does it for me. Now there we go. So I've just filled that in now very kind of loosely. Now isn't that a lovely glow we have in the centre of the painting there? And then I'm going to take some cadmium red, and I'm going to suggest some cadmium red across there, because there's some very rich red lines deep inside in there. Let's take a bit more, and perhaps even a hint of burnt umber as well. And then I'm going to suggest some items. I'm going to just loosely suggest some little items here and there. So with some burnt umber, there's a couple of lamps I can see, okay, pointing downwards, and one or two strings coming off of those. Let's take some of the burnt umber and let's suggest a little painting on a wall or something. Just some lines, some dark lines here and there, just to suggest that it's very busy and there's a lot going on. Do you understand? We could even take a hint of black as well. So you can see it's just very loosely giving you the impression that there's a lot of stuff happening inside here. And I'm going to take some Naples Yellow and suggest some Naples Yellow just around here in the centre as well. So a very bright point in the centre of the painting. And I think to really catch the eye, some cadmium yellow with white. And that's really going to be bright then, isn't it? Okay? So how's that? Okay, now that's fine. That'll do absolutely fine just for now. Just for now. And what I'm going to do then is I'm going to carry this colour with a clean brush. I'm going to take some cadmium red with some of the cadmium yellow, and I'm going to carry some of that colour just down here a little bit, okay? Just for now. There we go, that's fine. Just so that we have this in place. And even some more of that bright colour there. There we go. Alright, that's the centre finished. Okay, going back down to this centre area here, I want to just hit some highlight here and there on that sign. A little white and a bit of blue, and then add a little bit more blue. Just a little highlight here and there, so it's not flat all the way, you see? Just gives it a bit of oomph, doesn't it? And I could even add a hint of that colour as well up here. It's quite a nice blue kind of a hue up here on that roof, and even here and there on the wall. So you see, while the colour is on the brush, I'm just going to use it. So that's that nice complementary colour coming down. Okay, I won't go too far now with that. Just fix that there. It could be just a dirty patch on the wall or something just there. Alright, okay. Next I'm going to put in the window. Let's get the window done, shall we? And for that, basically white and blue. I'm going to take some white and blue for that. Okay, and for the bottom half, well, we could even do white and blue all the way, but I can see on the bottom half it's kind of a reflection of another roof. Now, you have to make a decision. Is that going to look a little funny when it's done, or will it look okay? I mean, as it is now, it's not too bad. We could start putting reflections in, but I don't want to risk spoiling the window. Let's try it. See how it happens, how it works and how it all comes out. Okay, we could go like that, and then we'll take a fine pointy brush, put in some black up here, and nothing now has to be exactly straight on this, okay? Don't worry, you don't have to be absolutely perfect with everything, because it's such an old building, nothing will ever be 100% straight and 100% true. There we go. We could put a little one just across the center here first, like so, and then let's clean our brushes and go right into some thick white and put in a white frame. Alright, we move another white piece down the very bottom here. Now let me just think. I think the window should be a bit further down, shouldn't it? Or the sign should be bigger, shouldn't it? That sign should be a lot bigger. It should be up a bit higher as well. So you see, we're learning as we go along, learning new things. Let's go up a bit with the sign. And so if we can use our artistic license as well. So it doesn't have to look exactly like it is on the photo. Let's go across here, a bit of white. Let's just imagine the sign is a bit lower down. Not to worry. And let's go with some nice white then around the window. And for the final piece, you could suggest one or two reflections like this, just on the window, okay? Just to suggest light hitting the window. And then I'll take a little bit of black and put some black just under here. And there we are. Alright. Now, we have lots of... Let's get a very pointy brush now for this next step, alright? And will I zoom in for you? I'm afraid to go near the camera in case I just upset everything. I leave it as it is. I'm going to go right in here now with some very fine detail, and I'm going to get a very small pointy brush for this, okay? This is a really small pointy brush, it's a size 0. And I'm going to get some white on my brush, and I'm going to suggest the bars or the kind of railing just around the outside of that sign. And let's go down this side here. It's all just an impression, look, you don't have to be perfect, like. It doesn't have to be perfect at all in any way. And then let's just go just like that. Okay. That's not bad, is it? I will suggest a couple of pieces coming down here and there. In fact, we can. Let's paint. Yeah, do you know what we can do? We can go right through it and paint in our blue again afterwards. Okay, like so. Like so. And then let's just put in a nice rich blue sign. A purpley sign. A little bit of blue, a little bit of black. Oh. There we are, let's get a bit more. That's nicer, isn't it? Nice strong colour. A nice rich colour. As you. There we go. Alright. Cool. I'm going to add a little bit of black just to one corner because there's a little darker shade coming along and it sort of lightens out then, doesn't it? Rightio. And we are looking good with that. And let's just go in underneath with some dark colour and soften that down in through the alleyway. There we go. Right, we're coming on well now, aren't we? Huh? This is looking quite nice. I'm going to add one or two cracks to the wall which I can see. Alright, just one or two. It's a very old building, remember, a really old building, and we have a little bit of a downpipe here then, coming across at an angle, coming straight down like that, and you can see it sort of just disappears, doesn't it? Now, let's go across the top of our sign again up here, and I'm going to leave the sign dry before I start putting writing and all that kind of stuff on it later on. So, well, not dry, but leave it just kind of sit for a while. Let's crack on now and get cracking with this left hand side over here. I'm excited about this. And I'm going to take my medium stubby again. And we'll start off with, I suppose we'll start off with the yellowy colour, will we? Okay, let's dampen our brushes and take some cadmium yellow. And it's a very rich orangey kind of a yellow, isn't it? So let's take a hint of cadmium red with some yellow. And we end up with this sort of, is it a kind of a musty colour? A mustard kind of a colour? No, it's a little bit too mustardy, isn't it? Let's take some more red and more yellow. Make it a little bit richer. Okay. Right down like that. Let's fill this in. I'll take a hint of turpentine in this. And I'll take more yellow and more red. In fact, I might add a bit more red to it as it comes up this way. There we are, that's quite nice. And down here as well, bring this all the way down. And when you find the mix is getting dry on our canvas, just add a little bit of turpentine into it. It just really helps everything flow around, you know. Okay, there we go. And then as it comes up higher, very high up, I'm going to take some Naples Yellow with cadmium yellow. And it's getting very bright then just up here, alright, just up by the roof. And remember, bring those brush strokes down as well. Don't forget about your brush strokes, okay? There, you see? Now it's beginning to make sense, isn't it? So I'm going to start adding some texture into this. Now, and some darkness. And what I mean by that is, I'm going to take some cadmium red and a little burnt umber. Now, if I put burnt umber onto this directly, it'll start going green because yellow and brown will go green. So that's why I've added a bit of red to neutralise the brown and to stop it from going that sort of a greeny colour, you see. So that allows me then to add a slightly warmer, darker shade to this. So a little bit of red and a little bit of burnt umber, you see. And then we won't have any greens on it, you understand? And we can even take a little red with some black, and then we still won't have any greens. And we can use that for a really dark shade just under this canopy thing here. Alright, and we can even darken it down a little bit here as well. It's just to add some variety to the colour, that's all. And then I'm going to take some brown and just put in some pipes, down pipes along here, and that'll help sort of join the two together. Do you understand? There we are, you see? Little down pipes like so. And then we have a very dark line on the roof. There we go. And we can put another one underneath. And then I'll start adding some lighter colour to the downpipes, so some Naples Yellow. Okay, a little bit of white even. Alright, so we have that yellowy colour done, and that's really complementing. You see, all the colours are kind of complementing each other as they go. Now we have a lovely turquoisey section over here, don't we? So let me now get a nice mix ready for that. I must take a cup of coffee actually. My coffee here is going cold. There we go. And let's get some nice turquoisey colour now. So turquoise, let's take some blue. And there's a good bit of this here now, so let's mix a good bit. Let's take some turpentine, plenty of turpentine. Alright. And let's take some yellow, cadmium yellow that is, and a hint of white. And that should give us a nice turquoisey colour, and it's a bit more on the blue side, isn't it? But there's still a hint of yellow in it. Now let me just check if this looks somewhat okay. I think a bit more blue, perhaps. And let's add a hint of black as well. Just to dull it down just that little bit so it's not as vibrant. Alright, yeah, I'm going with that. I'm going to go with that, I'm happy with that. Let's just fill everything in now with this, okay? Fill the entire, cover it all. Nice and free, have a bit of fun. And by the way, thank you as well for making me aware of that mistake I made in the last tutorial with the clouds. Do you know, that's just something that you kind of forget about along the way, because when you're taking a photograph like that and you're adding to it, you know, sometimes these things can just slip your mind, and you may not necessarily spot that mistake at the beginning of the painting. Look, it's just one of those things. That's how we learn. I learn too. I learn all the time with every painting I do, and all you guys are helping me as well, giving me advice and pointing out my failings. That's no harm. I think from time to time we all need to be told if something doesn't look right or whatever. I think you're only trying to help, and that's the most important thing. I think the criticism is perfectly acceptable as long as it's helping. You know, I don't agree with people when they come on. I see it on other channels as well. You might have somebody coming on and saying, no, it looks wrong, the mountains look wrong, or the sky looks completely wrong, but then they don't give any criticism or no advice as to how to fix it. That's completely wrong. You know, I think it's just not right, it's not fair. Give the artist a chance to fix it, explain to the artist what you think is wrong or how you could improve it, and then tell him. You know, just don't be afraid to tell him. And I'm sure he will appreciate your advice, rather than just saying, no, it's wrong, it's completely wrong, I don't like it. That's, I think it's just not nice, is it? It's not a nice thing to do to someone. Right, let's just go in up here now with a bit of blue and black, and I'm going to just add some dark into that. There we go, like so, and come down like so. Alright, and it's going to get darker as it goes in as well, isn't it? As it goes in under the canopy, so some blue and some black, and with the point of my brush, I'm going to just start suggesting some darks, getting darker and darker as it goes in. So you can see it's almost sort of disappearing, isn't it? It's kind of merging into that alleyway. And that's nice, I like that. And then I'm going to, now with a small pointy brush, I might just pick out some of the lighter lines so I can kind of work from them then. So we have a kind of a lighter one just here, don't we? And don't worry if it's not straight, my hands are very shaky now at the minute. And we have another one here. Like so. And we have another one here somewhere. Okay. And we've one across the top. I think that's a doorway in there. I think we have another doorway in here actually as well. Okay, that's not bad. That's coming on nicely now, isn't it? Okay, I'm going to clean my small brush just on the tissue and take some of that lighter colour, and I'm going to start adding a few highlights here and there. So it disappears then as it comes down, okay? So starting from the top with a light blue, put it down and let it sort of fade away. You see? Just to suggest light kind of catching them here and there. And then I'm going to take another smaller flat brush, give that a good clean on some tissue. Now I have yellow on this brush, so I'm going to give it a really good wipe on my tissue, alright? Because I don't want anything going green. Then I'm going to take some phaylo blue on its own, and I'm going to suggest some nice rich blue just at the bottom of this. Okay, just here and there. And I'll take some of the darker colour and I'm going to suggest some, you know, there's so much detail in this photograph that it would be very difficult for you to, well, I find it very difficult to paint all those details exactly as they are. So I much rather make just a nice impression of the scene than to be trying to paint all of these details. Okay, let's put another one here. So just to tell the viewer what it is, so it's just the side of a building with a couple of doorways. You know, I suppose you could call it almost abstract-y, a kind of a feeling. So let's put a piece over that. I'm going to put a piece along up there. And all these little brush strokes are helping. They're all helping to bring it together. I'm going to put a couple of lighter ones here and there. Let's just suggest a little bit of detail on the top of that. And let's pick out another little light on this. And then I'm going to suggest a piece coming across the front like that. And a piece coming across the front like that. Okay. And then I'm going to turn those inwards. So then they're going to turn inwards just so slightly like that. Okay, just like so. And it's all just a nice impression. Right, let's go and add some burnt umber up here. Little pieces up overhead. So all this is just I'm just basing just very loosely now, alright, on the photograph, as you can see. I'm not going into huge amounts of detail. I don't want to go into huge amounts of detail. But those people who would know this street will look at this and say, yes, I know exactly where this place is. And that's all I want to achieve. Alright, let me take a look at that. Let me stand back and take a good look. Okay. Yeah, it's not bad at all. It is not bad at all. I do want to darken a lot of the area in around the centre in there. So I'm going to take some black and some crimson. And I'm really going to darken, just darken some of this down inside here, okay? Because it's much darker on the photograph. And I'll take some burnt umber with a little black along here, just to help that kind of flow a little bit better in there. And take a little bit of black and separate that black against the yellow in there to give that a real sharp feeling. And the next thing I want to do is, we have a nice little area up there which I want to put in. So I'm just going to take some black and a little crimson again for that. And it's just this big kind of a canopy, overhead kind of a canopy, I suppose you could call it, one of those, I don't know, is it a sign or a canopy or what, but it's just a big chunky thing stuck on the wall, isn't it? Hard to tell what it is actually, but I will put it in. Okay. And I put some black underneath that. I'll take some brown and some red under that, just to suggest a little shadow. Okay. And now we have a couple of windows up overhead as well, don't we? I want to get those in. Firstly, I just want to get some white and some yellow, some Naples yellow, put a highlight on this. Now you could take the techniques that I'm using here and just apply them to your own street scene. You know, I find it very difficult to paint, I don't know, well I won't say difficult to paint street scenes, but they just take a lot of time, don't they? And if I was to paint street scenes on tutorials all of the time, it would take me forever. My tutorials would be 2 hours long, which I'm sure you would like, but for me, it's a little tricky. So just apply this to your own tutorials or to your own street scenes. Now I'm following the line of the roof up on top there, okay? It's very important. Just putting a little impression of the windows up there. Bring this one down a little bit further. You need to be really careful doing windows like this. You need to kind of follow that angle as best as you can. Now, that window is fine for now actually. What I'll do is, I'll take some black, let's say, and I'm going to just add some black, just to sort of show the reveals and under the window ledge, like so. Then I'm going to take some of that light blue and just flick some of that blue through here and there, just to show some light reflecting on the window. You see, it's just a little flick, that's all. I'm not going crazy. And now you see, I'm going to do a lot of work with the palette knife as well later on, but I'm just trying to fill in, I'm trying to get all the shapes in. Do you understand what I mean? It's just, I'm looking at shapes. When I'm looking at all of this now, I'm just looking at shapes, so I can see a square, a long angular rectangle along there, and I can see one along there. Okay, we have lots of greenery over this, so I get that bit of greenery in, I think. Let's get a little worn out brush like that and create a nice green. A nice rich green, some blue and some yellow and a hint of black. Let's take a hint of black and it's just clumps of green, you see? Just lots of lovely clumps of green. In there. There we go. I might even take some black. We have a lot of darker green hiding down underneath. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to take some white and put the white in with the yellow. And then we have a nice highlight for that greenery, don't we? And let's take a little hint of yellow on its own and suggest, you see, little things like that. And I might even take a little pointy brush and add a few flicks of yellow through that here and there. And then we can take some red and suggest some red flowers here and there as well. Okay, that's coming together quite nicely now, isn't it? Okay, I think I might leave this for now and just get on to the footpath. I want to get this footpath in. I'm going to go back to my medium stubby brush, okay, and I'm going to create a nice mauve, a warm mauve for that. Let me just get some blue first for a moment. I hope you're enjoying this process now. It's slightly different, but it's nice, I think. You know, I really kind of enjoy this type of process. Let me take some blue, some pink, a hint of white. Now I go very pinky just at the beginning, okay? Let me show you why. So that pinky colour will mix much better with the yellow, which is already there. So look, we have a pink here, and I can soften that pink then into the yellow much better. Let me take a bit more red. Now a bit of pink with some Naples yellow. Look, and let's soften it in. And now I'm going to pull that bluey colour off of my brush, you see, because it was stuck up in the top of my brush. So I'm just going to drag that off now. Go right down flat with your brush, drag off that lovely colour, very gently soften it up. Okay, see, it's coming on nice. And it's always worth thinking not to mix it too much on your canvas, because that can make things go very muddy if you're not careful, okay? I'm always careful. I don't mix too much. I just go over it once or twice and then I leave it. Soften it up. And let's come back down here. Now more of that lovely mauve colour down here. And again, you can be very, very simple when doing this. You don't have to paint lots of individual bricks on the roadway. You don't have to do that at all. Let me get some turpentine, because I'm running low on turpentine, and I'm going to create a nice glow in the centre of the footpath here, okay, coming outwards. This now is tricky, okay, trying to get this kind of glow. I'm going to get a fresh clean brush for this, a nice small clean brush, and I may have to use my palette knife as well. So I'm going to take some Naples Yellow, and I need to get some cadmium red as well. You could use crimson, but I find cadmium red is just that little bit more warm. For this kind of effect, the cadmium red is much nicer, I would say. So it gives you a much warmer effect. Now, let's take that colour and let's try and soften it down as best we can. A bit more red. So I'm going more red rather than yellow with this. I'm going to soften it down. Go with that now first, okay? Clean your brush. Just make sure and keep your brush nice and clean all the time. And then let's pick up some cadmium yellow. Now I need fresh yellow because I've green on that yellow there, and that's not good. Green is not good for something like this, is it? Let's get a fresh little dab of yellow, and let's take some yellow and a little hint of Naples. And let's try that. Okay, here we are. We're getting there now. It's coming on. It's a slow process. Just try to be patient. You will get there in the end. Let's pull it down this way, like so. And then I might, with my palette knife, drag that very gently down. Okay, how's that? So you can see now the colour is sort of coming outwards at us. And we leave it at that for now. We can continue on with that in a moment. I just want to get first some texture on this wall up here. I'm going to use some cadmium yellow with white. Okay, I'm going to go up here. I just want to get a little texture on this wall, just to add a bit more interest to the building up here. Now let me get some Naples yellow, a little bit of red. Very gently, look, just very gently scraping that. There we are. And look, I picked up little bits of black up there, here and there, but that's okay, that's fine. Not to worry. I'm just going to soften some of it down here and there, look. And it's completely fine. If you think we're after making a mess of it, not to worry. We can still fix it, okay? There we go. And we can get away with it for this because it's a very old building again, as I keep saying. It's a really old building. You see, that just added a little bit more texture to that building now, didn't it? And okay, let's see now, what have we got here? We have, I'm looking around now, I want to pick out little things which I can see. I want to put a hint of blue across the front of that, like so. I am going to start adding a little bit of detail to some of the signs and stuff like that down around here. So we have a little light catching a sign there and a little one there. Okay, we have a little bit of a pinky colour. I'm just going to add little colours to this now as well, okay? You can add your own little touches into it. Okay, that's looking quite good. I'll take a little black and I'll put some black down here. Okay, there we are. It's all a work in progress, isn't it? Okay, see, just a hint, little hints of colour here and there, and that. Okay, we have a big red kind of a sign, a big arrow here. First we have a square kind of a block, don't we? That's a dark brown square kind of a sign. So let's just take some burnt umber for that, and let's come right out here with some burnt umber, fill that in. Okay, let's go a little bit higher, and we add a little hint of black as we get in here. Now I need to straighten that slightly, don't I? Okay, you see, we're going well, aren't we? This is coming on nicely. Now we have a lovely rich bright red sign, a red arrow, don't we, coming down. So it's coming down like this, Okay, we had a slight problem. My camcorder died. The power just went off on the camcorder. I didn't realise it until looking at the camcorder. I'm on my phone, so if you can see me, I have my phone recording. Picture's not bad. It's 1270p, so it's not bad. So you just missed a couple of little things. I just put in with some white paint on my small pointy brush this little word on brogue, an Irish word, and I painted the sign red. I think I was just doing that, and just a few little squiggly lines here and there just to suggest some power lines, that kind of thing, okay? Now, it was nothing major, just a few small little suggestions of little detail. That's all, okay? That's all I'm doing. So I'm just going to continue on now. I put in a hint of a couple of lines just with my pointy brush like this, kind of hit and miss, just to sort of give you just to show you the direction of the kind of the roadway going off into the distance. Now what I want to do is, in here, I want to create a little bit of shadow in at that side. So a bit of blue, pink and a bit of black. And I want to pull it out very gently, just here and there, look. I just want to create a sort of a dark section just in there, and even on some of the stones, look, just a hint of darkness. I won't go up into the bright section because that's quite nice, I like that. And what I might even do as well is with a clean brush, well, relatively clean, take some of the white, put it in with your blue, and a little pink. And you could even add a little dab of highlight on some of those stones as well. Just here and there, look. And you can put it across your finger as well. It's just an impression, you know what I mean, of the different stones, pavement blocks, you know, it's all just a very light impression. I keep saying impression because that's what it is, and I really want you to understand that. Now, with even a piece of little dab of the orangey colour that we have, you could even put a hint of some orange here and there as well. And you know what? Even with the glow coming out here inside, coming outwards, we could add a little bit of that lovely warm glow to the wall outside as well. So look, let's take a bit of orange and let's just soften a little bit of that through here and there, look. So it's kind of bouncing off of the wall, isn't it? Let's take a little bit of red. Like so, and even on the turquoise, put a hint of it there, you see? Just a subtle hint. So it just kind of draws the eye in, doesn't it? Now what I'm going to do is take my palette knife with a bit of that yellow, and I still have green on that yellow. I'm not happy with that green. I don't like that green at all. I want to take some fresh yellow here. And I'm going to take my palette knife, okay, the flat edge of my palette knife, little bit of yellow, and a little bit of the whitey colour here. And I'm just going to add a little hint of that, just sort of coming out into the road here, okay, this footpath. And let it just drag it away out, you see? Just like so. And even on the inside you can put a hint of it just here and there with your knife. Just to give it that really warm glow, and then a hint of just yellow on its own in the middle. That's quite nice, isn't it? And then I'm going to soften it with my blender brush. I'm just going to soften very gently this coming down here, okay? There. Isn't that wonderful? A nice little glow. Now, if I remember, now I don't have my phone next to me with the reference photograph, alright? So, I'm going to have to try my best to remember what was on that photograph. Now, I painted it before, so I have a decent idea of what it was. So, a little bit of white, pink and a little bit of blue, and we have two long pipes coming down like so, don't we? In fact, you know what? We just use the palette knife. Let's use the palette knife and get some nice thick palette knife work on. Yes? Let me just give it a clean first. Look, I have a lot of yellow and all sorts of colours on my knife. It's a good idea to keep the knife nice and clean in between mixes. Wouldn't you agree? And let's just put an impression of this, like so, and we put a dark line on one side. See, it's just very impressionistic, isn't it? And let's just pull that up with our finger all the way up like that. And then let's just put a hint of brown. We have another looking one here. Let's take a hint of white for that. And again, you see, it's all just a very loose suggestion, that's all. It's a lot of fun, this kind of painting. It's a little messy, but it's fun nonetheless. And you should definitely try it. So let me just drag this down here now. Leave a lovely little impression of a pole. I know it all looks a little messy, but it's fine. Okay, and let's take a little black, put some little black ropes coming off of that, and one or two coming off up here, like so. How about painting a person? Oh no, we forgot one little thing. The writing in the middle of the sign here. Let me just fix this down for a moment and we just refine around the edge of the sign. Okay, like so. We have a writing, it says the English market. Let's do our best now to get this right. Okay, we have the on top, I think. Wouldn't it be? The English market. And my hands are very shaky. The English market. Yeah, you see, it's just an impression, that's all. And let's put squiggly line along underneath. I think that's what was on it, I can't remember exactly. Right, we are looking quite nice. We are looking good. Let's just sharpen up some little details in there. Alright, and I'm going to add a splash of red in there, just to draw your eye in. Put a couple of, let's take some white, put a hint of some nice white flowers here and there, just to sort of brighten up this side ever so slightly. And we have, I'm just kind of going around now adding just suggestions of little details, that's all. That's all I'm doing. They're only a suggestion, alright? But it's all kind of going towards the same feeling in the painting. Now, there's one more thing I want to do with my palette knife. And I want to take some phthalo blue and some white. Only just a little blue in this. And I want to go up there and give this some nice texture up here. Okay. And then we can even soften that down, look. Soften it along with our fingers. You see, it doesn't matter if you make little mistakes, it's absolutely fine. It's all just an impression of a lovely freestyle kind of a street scene. Let me sit back and take a look. Let's have a look at this now and see what it's looking like. Ah, that's not bad now, is it? Huh? How about painting a silhouette of a man walking in? How about that? Let's get some black. And a bit of turpentine in this, and that will help cover much better then. So let's go. We have a man walking in. Like so. Completely black all the way down. Imagine you're just painting the shape of a carrot. Okay? That's what I do when painting figures like this. It's just an impression. And his head. And then we need a shadow, don't we? So a nice purpley shadow. Some blue, some pink, and perhaps a touch of black as well, look. And we have a nice shadow coming down away from him. And I'll soften this down with my finger back, look. So it almost disappears. There. And I put a bit of black even just at the bottom. Soften it out. Now how was that? Let me sit back and take a look at this. See, isn't that lovely? Nice and eye-catching. It's a really eye-catching type of a painting. It's the type of painting where you're walking past it. Now when this is framed, it's going to look stunning. It's the type of painting when you're walking past it, these yellows and blues are just going to catch your eye. And it's going to be like, wow, you know? That's the kind of painting this is, and that's why I love painting these types of paintings as well. Now I'm just adding a little bit of pink and brown, just here and there at the bottom of this. I just want to darken this down ever so slightly, while warming it as well at the same time. And you can also reflect some of that colour onto the floor, look. You see, because these colours will reflect onto the ground. Do you understand? Sometimes your finger is the best tool in the box. It really, really is, isn't it? You can do more with that than you can with brushes sometimes. Look at this, this is lovely. Adding a bit of texture to the wall. And I think that's done. I'm just going to get some white paint and I'm going to sign it down here. And I'm going to make a nice frame for this and pop it on my Etsy page and see if anybody from the States would like it. A lot of Irish people over in America would be familiar with this area on Brogue. It's a little pub there, down by the Market Lane I think this is called actually. So just a little bit of white, fill that in. And there we go. That's quite nice. I'll put a bit of black again under here, just to refine some of these. And that, my friends, is it. I think if we dwell too much on it, it might only just start going downhill, so I'm going to leave it well alone. I hope you've enjoyed that. Let me see if I can zoom in with this camera. I don't think I can, but I'll try. Oh, we can zoom in. So there we are. Market Lane in Cork City. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've got some kind of feedback from it. You know, just kind of nice easy techniques to keep it nice and simple. That's all. But I mainly focused on that nice glow in the centre of the painting. That's what my aim was. I wanted to get that right. And I think I've achieved it. Now, that little bit of blue up there is catching my eye. And I just don't like it. I just do not like it too much. So I'm going to take a bit of red, cadmium red, mix it in with some of the blue and the white. We have a nice kind of a mucky pinky kind of a colour. And I'm going to soften that over that blue just a little, okay? That's better, don't you think? Yes. So there we go. Now I don't know if I can turn this camera or not. So you can see me. How's that? Is that good? I have a very funny kind of a clamp on this thing here, so it's not the best. I apologise for all this inconvenience. Thank you so much for watching. I really enjoyed this. I hope you have had some pleasure watching this unfold. Thank you so much for your support. Please do subscribe if you haven't done so. You're missing lots of lovely, interesting techniques, and it's just all a bit of fun. That's all, okay? It's lots of fun. We're painting, nothing is serious. There's no obligation to do everything perfectly right every time. It's just all a bit of fun about painting, and we're just getting our hands dirty, literally, okay? Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to get your hands nice and dirty every now and again. So go on, I'll see you next week. Check out my Patreon page if you want to see lots of extra tutorials. It's just a little way of supporting me, that's all it is. So go and check that out. Very interesting tutorials on that as well. I will see you again, not next week, I will see you in 2 weeks, because next week I'm getting surgery on my ear. They're going right in deep to fix something that's wrong inside my head. There's probably a lot more wrong inside my head, I'd say. But look, they're fixing that. So I won't be back next week. I will take a couple of days to recover from this. I'll probably have a big silly looking thing stuck to the side of my head, a big bandage. So yeah, that's going to be painful, to say the least. I will see you in about 2 weeks, okay? I hope you understand. Right, that's it. I will see you very, very soon. God bless, and thank you for watching.